always got some words of wisdom to speak. And I want to thank everybody for coming out. I want to thank everybody who provided the support on my behalf, because the support that you provided on my behalf is support for a multitude of others. Because, it's a lot of people who don't have no hope in the places that I came out of. Like they done lost hope, and in the process of losing hope, they lose insanity. And it's hard to recognize that, because out of sight, out of mind. You can't see it, you don't see it. Right now, we in an event experiencing emotions of joy, and like kind of like having a celebration. But right at this moment, right now, you have some people locked in a cell somewhere. You get what I'm saying? And they locked in that cell, and they in a state of total despair, because some of them don't know what to do, because the system is stacked in such a way that it overwhelms the mind. It can overwhelm somebody's mind who come from a poor background, low education. So now you pile on top of them the type of pressure of incarceration for years and years and years. The mind can't really comprehend that. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to rationalize that type of experience. And so then you got to think about a system that can be so cold, be so frigid, be froze-hearted, where they can't even feel any type of sympathy, so to speak, for such situation. They're going on trips, vacations. They might be going to Paris somewhere. We don't know where the judge is going. You get what I'm saying? Their children are at Harvard or UVA, going off to be doctors and maybe lawyers, and one day become a judge. That's the type of legacy they are providing. So they are continuing the same tradition of slave masters, so to speak. So it's like the slave master's children. So that's what I really want to express. Of course, I'm like preaching to the choir. Y'all already know this. Me saying this is really nothing, but I really thank y'all for your support, because I'm a fighter anyway. Like my memo, my life as a 5%er. I'm a 5% patriot. I don't know how many know about the 5%, but I like wear it on my sleeve. It's here. And that's what we represent: freedom, justice, and equality. To go and intervene with the young. Because for me, I started at a very, very young age, involved in heavy street lifestyle, where many of us didn't physically get to stay alive to reach the age that I am. And if you did get to live to see my age, you were locked up. So it's like one of two things: you either physically dead, or you dead civilly or to the world, locked up. So it's almost like you're still dead almost, because you're buried alive. So I will that this don't stop, because a lot of times we can see certain things where the hype, oh, George Floyd, and we don't hear nothing about George Floyd no more. It's like people go back to sleep. They go back to sleep again. Then it take another event. It's like a catalyst. It take another, oh, we about change. And they start marching, and people start marching. And then when the media attention is not there no more, it go away. But those people's families still in the pain though. It's still suffering taking place, but again, out of sight, what? Out of mind. You don't see it on TV, you don't see it on social media, so therefore it's not in the forefront of your brain, because you're distracted with all this other stuff going on. And that has always been, I would say, the tactic of the enemy. When I say enemy, enemies of truth. Anybody who is against freedom, justice, and equality is an enemy to freedom, justice, and equality, basically, right? That's right. So I will that this continue on, that this just don't stop with me. I'm gonna keep going regardless, because it's just built inside of me. It's natural for me to do this. And I can see for most of you, it's natural because most of you, all of you came to my aid and didn't even know me, besides Universal. Everybody else in this room who was a part of the Wize Coalition, only 2 people knew me personally, and that was Born and Universal. That's like my right hand and my left hand. Both of them, they knew me. We had already been through certain trials and tribulations together in the trenches. And we made a bond of brotherhood from the very inception of our communication. We made a bond over 20-some years ago. It was like, yo, yeah, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. And that's what we're doing. We're still doing it. It didn't stop. We still doing what we said we were going to do 20-some years ago. Like 1999. You get what I'm saying? That's what we said. We still communicate with each other. We never lost communication all those years, even after me getting locked up and different people getting locked up and different people going through different trials and tribulations. We still stayed in contact with each other. This is how I got out. I got out because of the love of brotherhood and the love of sisterhood, of the love of black people, basically, the love of our struggle. So we say Harriet Tubman Tuesday, or what we call it, Tubman Tuesday. And it's something that I noticed, it's a saying that they said Harriet Tubman said. I'm going to paraphrase it, so to speak. She said, I freed like hundreds, maybe something like that. I maybe freed hundreds. But I would have freed thousands. Only if they knew what? That they were slaves. A lot of people don't even realize that they are slaves. You have some people that's locked up and don't even realize you are still in the condition of a slave. But what is even more sad to me is people in society living as slaves and don't know it. You get what I'm saying? You can still be living in society because you can be wage laboring. You know what I'm saying? Wage laboring, you can be working hard. And you're being drained of your energy. But there's some people sitting behind the scene, they blood sucking all of that. You get what I'm saying? They sitting back making money off your labor, and you not getting the output that's equal to your input. You putting in a lot. You putting in a lot of work. Laboring. So you ain't even got time to go down to the legislation. You ain't got time to go down to the General Assembly or where they making the laws at, because you so caught up in trying to make sure what? My lights stay on.
That's right. Yeah.
You trying to make sure your card note is paid.
Tell the truth.
So while they sitting back having these meetings at these committees, having meetings about the whole jurisdiction that you're living in. Simple as what the speed limit is going to be. We're going to say the speed limit is going to be 25 miles per hour. You didn't have no say-so in that. But you know you better drive 25 miles per hour when you come through here.
That's right.
Because if you don't, and they see you, the state trooper, whatever, they're going to pull you over and give you a ticket. And then what's that? More money you got to spend. And you really can't afford to pay no ticket. Because you barely can make it to the next check to make sure you keep a roof over your head. And these things are very serious. It might not seem like a big deal to some people. Some people say, oh, I ain't trying to hear that, man. You know, I'm about to go over here and do what I'm doing, or I got to go until somebody in their family get locked up. Until somebody close to them gets locked up. Now you want to come all in the forefront. We need to, people been doing that. Harriet Tubman, that's like, how many years ago? Nat Turner, how long ago that was? People been fighting for our freedom.
Yes, sir.
It ain't never stopped. So I ain't gonna talk your head off. I ain't gonna talk your head off, but again, thank y'all for all of your assistance, whether it's a phone call, an email, you know, meetings, whatever part whatever role that you chose to take on, it was most necessary. It's like, look at a body. When, you know, I give all praise due to Almighty God Allah. So we say arm, leg, arm, head. Just right here, my body. That's how I see God, within my body, right? So, no one part is any more important than the other part. This is what destroys organization or body.
That's right.
Is when ego kick in. You get what I'm saying? The ego, it's a natural form of energy that moves in your body a certain way. So it can cause you to start thinking certain things. And then you start to slide like this at your brother or your sister though. Oh, why she saying? Oh, why he? Now it opens doors for all type of suspicion to kick in. It opens doors for certain type of illusions to start to be projected in your mind. And now all it takes is for one thing that you physically see, and you be like, oh, there you go right there. But that came from you having doubt. It came from you allowing a weak part of yourself to take over. Because we all have weakness. You know how they say, well, the flesh is weak. So we all got these weaknesses, right? However, it's to be aware that you got that. To be aware that these things exist inside of you. And understand that history repeats itself. But guess what? We don't have to repeat the history, though. Even though history repeats itself, we don't got to repeat the history just because history repeats itself. And so this is what I think we should keep in mind in going forward. Always understand that there is no big I's and no little U's, because my finger is very small compared to my leg. But it's no more valuable or less. You see what I'm saying? The finger is no more important than the leg is no more important than the finger. And the reason why I'm saying this, if you think so, just lose your finger then. If you think your finger is really not a big deal, lose it. You might take it for granted. Oh, I got 5 fingers and, you know, my legs, I need my legs, lose a finger. Peace.